Hi everyone, Gnev here. If you don't know what WoW Ascension is, it's a server where you build your own World of Warcraft class. You start with choosing 4 spells at level 1 and you gain 1 more each 2 levels starting from level 10. The max level is 60 for now. I honestly felt like this game is made for me. I played WoW for thousands of hours. I'm a multiclasser. I weigh more than 100 kilos. And I have a neckbeard. So let's see how it went. I started my character with Immolate, Moonfire, Serpent Sting and Wrath. I thought I'd go for a dot build and got Wrath because it's nature damage, which should work great with Serpent Sting, or at least I thought so. The early levels in Ascension are extremely fun. After going through this zone countless times on Warmane, it felt really good to switch it up, to play something that's new to me but still familiar. That's when I opened my talent tree, and to be honest I felt a bit overwhelmed. Even though I played all the classes in the game, the freedom when you can choose talents from any class in the game was a bit frightening. I was also surprised when I hit a loading screen when I entered Elven Forest. Where the fun truly starts though is level 10. These are the spells I got to choose from, and I think I made the right decision with Greater Heal. I mean, who needs mana, right? This is where I also noticed that professions give you experience. It's a small change in retrospect, but it really makes it worthy to level your professions. I loved seeing that. Anyway, after hitting level 12, I got to choose from these 3 spells. And since I already had Immolate that does fire damage, I went with Flame Shock, to try and make something out of that. Hogger fell like a candle. Honestly, the game does an amazing job of making you feel overpowered. That's when I got this sword that increases the damage of Immolate by 15%, and I was extremely happy with it. There are these enchants that drop on random pieces of gear that actually make your class viable. This is just the first one I got. Because I felt so overpowered, I decided to try my luck with these 4, and I cut through them like butter. I thought I was the shit at that time. I knew I could queue for RDF when I hit level 15, and I was really looking forward to it for a long time. While still in queue, I turned in some storing quests and chose to stick with the fire build at level 16. And after waiting 26 minutes in queue for a random dungeon, I gave up and joined a Battleground. I can't really talk shit about the queue time as it was pretty early in the morning, when not a lot of people play. I also learned later that players who actually know what they're doing join a group in global chat at level 15, and they stick together to level 60. So not a lot of players actually queue for dungeons with the in-game system. The Battleground queue however popped pretty quickly and I entered the battle. First thing I noticed was that I am the only dude without a mount. So I looked pretty silly walking everywhere with my bald head. I also got my ass handed to me. Even though I played WoW for a very long time, and even with me thinking of myself as a pretty good player, it was here that I had to accept that I'm a noob at Ascension. Anyway, a nice addition to the game is that you actually gain experience from Battlegrounds. Quite a lot of it as well. You do however share the experience with everyone who's close to you, so your best bet is solo killing players. But to get back on track, I got Reju at level 18 since the other options were shit, and Pyro at level 20 because it fit perfectly with my fire build. Somehow we actually won that Battleground, and the second after coming out of it, I queued for RDF and got an instant pop. It was time for Shadowfang Keep. Now PvE is where I feel at home, and I was having a great time. Even though people were doing triple my DPS, the levels and items were flying at such a speed that I could barely catch up. I got Aim Shot at level 22, Last Stand at level 24, and Shadowburn at level 26. That was when 2 of our DPS left the group and we kept going as 3. The guys that stayed were actually really cool and they answered all my stupid questions. I like the community at the server. Also, remember when I passed life tap in order to get greater heal? That surely didn't bite me in the ass. Not at all. I got consecration at level 28 to have some AoE damage, and after a short fight with Arugal, I finally hit level 30 and got strength of the earth totem because the other options were shit. That was when I realized you have these Hand of Fate cards which you can use to redraft some of the spells you don't need. So I got Evocation and replaced Greater Heal to fix my earlier level mistakes. I got Track Humanoids and replaced Shadowburn. And I got Flash of Light and unfortunately unlearned Consecration. I guess these cards can be double-sided. I also used some of my talent essences to get Fire Mage talents, such as Ignite and Improved Scourge. I was all in with the fire build at this point. That's when I queued for RDF again and I tried leveling normally through quests for some time. It was going pretty quickly and I felt that my character is strong, but it was nothing compared to RDF or Battleground. Still, I got Insect Swarm at level 32 and Nomer gun popped pretty quickly after that. This group was nowhere as fast as the last one. We were dragging ourselves like snails. But we did finish it, and I got to level 34 at the end. That's when I took my Interrupt in Windshear and I got my Jimmy Neutron hat. I felt like such a badass. Q pops and I'm in the Scarlet Monastery. We finish it very quickly and I get level 36 and Devouring Plague with it. My confidence was sky high at this point, so I decided to try PvP again. Somehow we won that BG in a few minutes and I got 4 levels out of it. I jumped from 37 to 41 in seconds. I don't know why this happened, but I wasn't gonna cry about it. Anyway, I got Blessing of Sanctuary at 38 and Exorcism at 40. I enter a new BG and I actually win a 1 vs 1 and get half a level from it. Suck it, Lil Mojo. Feeling even stronger, I enter a BG again and I actually do decently. I get Frost Armor on level 44 while my teammates are getting slaughtered just a few meters away. And Hurricane for that sweet AoE at level 46 when the BG finished. I wasn't getting any queues for random dungeon finder, so I just decided to keep going with the BGs. It looks like that's what most people do when they solo level. Anyway, I took Divine Protection at level 48 and Mind Flay at level 50, while in the middle of a war. That's when I finally had enough gold to buy my mount. Yeah, I actually walked all the way to level 50. This was when I had my streak of bad luck. I lost 5 battlegrounds in a row, getting stomped one after another. I went against people with full builds, and unfortunately got reminded of my experience level with this mode. Even with all of that, I still managed to get a few kills, and I got rewarded for it with Rend, which is completely useless for my build at level 52. My teams kept getting stomped, but I kept grinding, getting Curse of Agony at level 54 and Divine Shield at level 56. I then got Vampiric Touch at level 58 and I was ready to hit 60. And bam, this man was my last kill to max level. I got Thunderstorm, which reviewing the footage now I completely forgot I had. So how long did it take me to hit max level? After typing /played, it turned out that I played for a little less than 7 hours. I know now that people can get to level 60 in an hour or so with using auras and potions of experience, but this was how long it took me. Even though people's builds were quite a bit stronger than mine, I actually had fun leveling. There's nothing like that feeling of getting a new level in WoW, and combined with the bonus dopamine of picking a new spell every 2 levels, it honestly felt great. There were some problems of course, as there just weren't enough people for random dungeon finder, which I enjoyed the most in the game. But that really isn't the server's bad. People without experience potions just seem to play Battlegrounds more. Anyway, I wanted to try the late game out, so I bought some gear of the auction house. I saw online that there's this great gear enchant that allows you to cast Scorch while moving, so I had to have that. I then refined my build by getting talents that improve your fire damage, most notable of them being Hot Streak, and I joined a random dungeon to see how I do. The people who were with me were flying through the dungeon. They obviously had even longer neckbeards than me, so it was quite difficult to catch up with them. That however motivated me to go to the auction house and to buy some cheap epics. I only spent 30 gold and I was ready for heroic dungeons. I really don't know how the game allowed that. My queue for a heroic dungeon finally popped, and I was ready to see what I was made of. I actually pumped the AoE and was first on Skada for a pool. That's when I knew I was hooked. I then got my first epic drop from Magister Calendris, and an epic font from Trash just a few minutes after that. We then finished off all the bosses and my first heroic dungeon was done. I decided to stop here and to summarize what I saw so far. I honestly think this server has amazing potential. Some of the ideas implemented in it are brilliant, the biggest of them being the spell system. There are some problems as well, of course, with the server being a bit pay to win, with things such as players being able to buy decks where they can choose the 4 spells they start with. Ascension also has an incredibly high barrier of entry, as I can't see new WoW players enjoying the server. It would be too overwhelming for an average player in my opinion. If you are a WoW veteran though, who's played the game for years, I feel this game and this mode is just made for us. Getting to put your game knowledge to the test with the spells and talent system, and leveling quickly through BGs and RTF is something I genuinely enjoyed, and I'm looking forward to seeing the endgame systems as well. So what did I think of the server? I loved it. I am aware though that I only scratched the surface. These were just my first impressions, and there's still quite a lot to see. Well, that's it for my video. Please tell me what you thought of the server in the comments, and if you'd like to see more videos from WoW Ascension. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.